We have one player who's definitely favorited in this match, but it should be close enough to give us a good series. At least I hope so. Because spawning in the upper left-hand corner of Oceanborn, we have one of the best Protosses in the world right now. Our Korean Chin Toss. It is classic. And he's got his first real test of the day. He's got a good seed. I think it's the #1 seed in the bracket. Which usually means he's got a pretty easy path, but eventually he's going to come up against somebody who's, you know, pretty good at the video game. And here we are. We got ourselves a Terran in the lower right-hand corner. In the blue, it's Nicoract. Nicoract is a pretty solid Terran. I think he's around 6K on Europe, if I'm not mistaken. Don't 100% keep up with everybody's MMR. But he's maybe a little higher than 6K. 6.3K? I don't want to insult him. You know, I don't want Nicoract to be like, oh, watch the VOD and see what happened here. See what he's talking about. And I'm like, he's a 6K Terran. He's like, screw you, dude. I'm like 6.5K. I don't know. Maybe he is. He's good at the game. But he is going to be fighting the uphill battle here against, you know, one of the best Protosses in the world. We'll see what he decides to bust out. He is scouting with the SCV. It looks like he might have been planning like an eBay block or something. I don't know. It definitely wouldn't have gotten down in time, so maybe not. At the same time, Classic is blocking the command center placement with the probe. That will get shooed away. So, just a little bit of poking and prodding on either side here. Gets up to see that there's the Reaper wall from Classic. Nicoract putting down a bunker. I think that's always a good call. A lot of the top Protosses, this is something I've seen, particularly from MaxPax for a long time, but I feel like a lot of the other Protosses saw just how annoying they could be with their first few units. And we see that pretty much every game now, right? These first few units moving across the map, trying to poke and prod. Something like a bunker can really help you not just die. Obviously, we have a little bit of a delay on this command center right now. Nicoract is trying to deal with this Adept being annoying. But he won't just die. He won't just lose these units. With some nice micro here, it looks like Nicoract should be able to get this base up and running. Ooh. Oh, man. Well, good focus fire there from Classic. Gets that SCV kill and delays this base by a long time. Oh, the Reaper goes down with the last hit as well. Nicoract will finally clear this up. Ooh, and starts up +1. This is a 3 racks build out of Nicoract. So he's going to have a lot of power here with +1, stim, and combat shields. All should be finishing kind of around the same time. For a big push. Now, Classic with this Phoenix is going to be able to get the scout on everything going on over here because he doesn't really know what's going on in the main base just yet. Hasn't seen any follow-up tech. So now he gets the full scout and everything. There's a turret here, but Phoenix should just be able to get out of there. And Classic already heading into a Robo. So I guess the plan here was Phoenix Colossus, but because it was a Stargate before the Robo, really going to have time, I think, to get fully into a Colossus before this push hits. Nicoract, of course, could opt not to push. That is definitely a thing he could do, but I feel like he's got the strong potential to hit with this. Classic is not taking a third base yet. At the very least, delaying a third base for Classic. He's trying to chrono out an Immortal and get that Robo Bay up and running. But for right now, I like this position for Nicoract, and I think if he does decide to push with all of these upgrades finishing up, he might still be able to get some damage done. Classic is getting a second Immortal out because the Robo Bay is still not done. And he wants to take a third base, but Immortals are very, very expensive. And this is just very much delaying a third base. Nicoract is still posturing around with these Marines as the Phoenix is keeping tabs on them without dying. No Marauders here for Nicoract either. It's just pure Marines. It's going to be good against the Immortals. And it looks like he is going to push across. He's making some Immortals now. He might actually be waiting for Medivacs because all of his upgrades are done except for concussive shells. So he's moving across a little bit late if he wanted to hit with these 3 upgrades. But the first Colossus is not out yet. The double Immortal delaying that Colossus by quite a bit. Nicoract, he's going to go for the stim. He's going to take down the shield battery that's here by the Nexus. The force fields, though, separating a lot of these Marines off. Marines instead going to try to gun down a pylon, but decide to just back up. Find another pylon down here. Oh, classic. With enough APM to cancel that pylon that's getting hit. He didn't really need to do that, but he does it anyways. And oh no, Nicoract's going to get spotted here. He's going to have to stim to run away. But now he's running a very weird path to get out of here. In the meantime, he's putting down a third base back at home. These Marines got to stim one more time and be able to kill these units that path this direction. At least some small consolation. And he's keeping this army out on the map really nicely. He needs to because he's got to get more units out back at home. Nicoract desperately trying to produce units. I don't think these Marines get back home, though. Oh, my God. One hit from the Colossus. And the one Colossus, 2 Immortal little section of this army here is so scary for Nicoract. Third base is not done yet. Nicoract will deflect this army. Classic decides not to commit to the attack. He's got a second Colossus out. He's got a third one on the way, and I feel like it's only a matter of time before Classic just has way too much for Nicoract to deal with. That 3 racks, I think that was a good idea, and I feel like there was a shot there, but I think he really needed to hit right as Stim and Combat Shields finished up. Classic just had a little bit too much, and also those very fast reflexes with the force fields there. Gonna be too good. Nicoract, he's going to try to defend here, but the Phoenix is helping to lift up some of the Marauders, and there's just too much power in Classic's army. One Immortal dies, and that is it. GG gets called. Classic takes game number 1, looking as strong and solid as you expect Classic to look. We'll just keep moving this camera around as he moves. It's important in between games to make sure the cat's in frame. That's important. All right. Alcyone's going to be map number 2. We'll see if Nicoract, maybe he's got a special build ready to go. Maybe he can bring it to Classic. It's tough, man. Classic's really good. He's like really good. But I believe in our Terran here that he can do something. He can do something in game number 2. The lower left-hand corner of Alcyone, it is Nicoract. Trying to punch up and hit his opponent. The upper right. It's Classic. It's actually really cool to hear that Parting signed with the team. That makes me really happy. I really do wonder who it is. I like that Classic was out scouting for a proxy. He's still looking for it. I think he was trying to stop the engineering bay block from going down because that was That was Nicoract's plan. And Classic just completely stopping that by having the probe in the exact right position. I mean, Nicoract could still go put down some... Hey, he's going to go block this base. It looks like the SCV is going to have to leave before too long, though. Ooh, only got 15 health. All right, gets out of there. It looks like another Reaper expand at it. Whoa, hold on. Nope, I lied. I was going to say another Reaper expand at a Nicoract, but he's got 2 gases, so that is a factory going down. Changing it up a little bit here. Glad to see that. Don't just want to see the same builds over and over again. Classic gonna come see what's going on over here. Sees no base on the low ground, and we'll be able to scout the factory on the high ground. Sees the reactor, and might now be thinking there's a proxy starport going down for some Hellion drops. That's my immediate thought when I see this against Protoss. But I think it's gonna be Cyclones at a Nicoract, because there's no proxy starport. There it is, double Cyclones starting up. Probe out here, we'll be able to scout the Cyclones. Probably will be able to scout the Cyclones. It's going to say the Reaper could come back and just kill the probe before it gets any scouting on what units are coming out. Nicoract's going to take the CC on the high ground. But obviously these Cyclones are going to be scary for Classic. He's got a Stargate on the way. It's just a few Adepts coming out right now. And no shield battery down here on the low ground. I feel like that's a bit of a misstep. Also, all the production is on one pylon right now, which if Nicoract's able to get the Reaper up here, the double Cyclone could lock onto the pylon and kill it very quickly. And that could be a bit of a problem for Classic. Also, I don't know if that probe actually saw the Cyclones coming out. Kind of assume he did. Pylon going down out front now, but that's still not a shield battery. There is one Phoenix here that can lift these Cyclones. Could lift one Cyclone and just really minimize the amount of damage these Cyclones can do. But one Cyclone lift, or one Phoenix lifting is not the scariest thing in the world. Now the second Phoenix, though, is going to lift the hurt Cyclone. Will be able to get the kill on it. One of the Adepts falls, but Nicoract is now on the run to get out of here. The Adept's going to finish that Shade, do a little bit more damage to the Cyclone. Well, reinforcements are on the way here for Nicoract. 2 more Cyclones show up, and ooh, the scan to the high ground going to help clear up both of those Adepts. Nicoract hitting the front. He's going to try to take this pylon down that's powering the shield battery, but it stays alive, and the shield battery will be able to heal these units up quite nicely. Overcharge turns on, and Nicoract is absolutely going to have to back up for now. At the same time, Classic is just full blocking this base. Is this worth it? I feel like this can't be worth it. This is so much money. But I guess it's worth it since now Classic has plenty of time to get everything up he needs. He's not taking any damage back at home. That's just, it feels like that should have been a third base, but I guess delaying your opponent's base is really good. We see the income lead here for Classic is just getting bigger and bigger. It will shift back towards Nicoract now, but still going to be in Classic's favor. And despite losing more, I think that's well worth the 300 minerals or so. I guess it was what? It was 2 Cyber Cores. Maybe he canceled that second one? Yeah, 1 Cyber Core, 1 Pylon. Totally worth it. Totally worth it. Nicoract going to come back around with the Cyclones, though, and I think he might have to cancel this base. If all the Cyclones log onto this base, I think they kill it too quick. Classic does have some units here. Yeah, he's just going to have to cancel that base, so this is a nice move out for Nicoract. Where are those Phoenixes? There were a few of them. Second Immortal pops out. Nice little force field here. Oh my god, Nicoract's going to go in. Lands the Vikings, but the overcharge on the shield battery is going to pop. I don't know why Nicoract decided to go in there. He forced the cancel on the base. I feel like that's so good. There's no way these Cyclones get the kills on the Immortals. Although they got them damn close, man. Two Cyclones going to get lifted up. They're so low. Nicoract is just going to tap out. That is weird. That was weird to me. GG, though. Classic wins the game, wins the series 2-0. And Nicoract, despite what I thought was a very fun Cyclone build, I feel like if he just cancels the Nexus there and doesn't overcommit, I feel like he's in an okay spot, but maybe not. Maybe I was misreading that game. In any case, GG's.